We are about a block from the White House now as we get started streaming. You can see more storefronts boarded up here. This whole area of the city is closed off by military vehicles today. So we'll get one more block and then we will see what the protests are looking like here in the core of Washington. Loud motorcycles. Hey, Ray. Ray, we're just getting started here. We're around the corner from the White House, so we're going to see what the protests are all about today, and then we're going to go see ducks. So we want to check in on the tent city, see how DC's autonomous zone is handling itself at this point. I gotta go up one more block. This whole area part of town is essentially blocked off to vehicles. Okay, we got a guy talking back there. Not sure what he's saying. We are in the heart of downtown DC here. 9 people shot in New York City, 16 people shot in Minneapolis last night. Yeah, there was a lot of shooting around the country last night. Minneapolis in particular was quite noteworthy. Everybody's waiting for details of that shooting to come out. That was obviously in the neighborhood of a lot of the George Floyd protests there. Push to eliminate policing in Minneapolis. See what that does to that city's crime rate here in the time being. My suspicion is it may raise it fairly substantially in the short term. And we'll see what happens then after that. But that seems to be the record of what happens in situations like that. Okay, it's looking like some dark clouds. Supposed to. Looks like there's a window that was knocked out because it's the only window on that storefront that is missing. So presumably that wasn't precautionary, that was responsive. Same thing here at the Gems Optical. There's one window that's been replaced here. So presumably that was not precautionary. That was instead in response to various levels of things that have been happening. So now we're on H Street and we're heading directly into the heart of DC's protest area. I don't know why Trump is just letting this go on. He said he's just going to let Seattle stay the way it is. I don't think he cares that much about Seattle, and I think he's hoping perhaps that it devolves a little bit on behalf of his re-election campaign. But I'm sorry, you know, this is crazy what's happening in some cities right now. I mean, this is the core of Washington, D.C. We're now 3.5 weeks out from the start of all this, and these businesses are still boarded up and graffitied. I mean, this is a mutiny. So these protests. When they have been riots, they have been riots. Now gone on for 3.5 weeks. Some cities, I think they've gone on for about 4 weeks. It's longer than any major set of protests in the history of, recent recording. I think Trump's in trouble, guys. I think he's going down pretty big. Hey, Liquid. Liquid hasn't been around in a while. We're going to see ducks, but we're just going to walk through the protest area here just to see what's going on since it's a Sunday. I wanted to check out the status of the tent city that first appeared a few nights ago. What's with TikTok and Trump? Well, as you may have noticed, we typically add on whatever we think the top search terms of the day are probably going to be, and pretty good look at this road closure sign has been graffitied with BLM. TikTok obviously is a big trending topic today because Trump's rally was pretty significantly under-attended yesterday. Relative to the expectations, which were like 100,000 people. In fact, they got about 6,500 people, and the arena was not full or even close to it. The reason is that some teens on TikTok had sort of trolled the situation by having people sign up for tickets and then not go in massive numbers, and it tricked the campaign into thinking they were going to get really big turnout. And instead, what they got was still big turnout for a typical campaign event, but not nearly what they thought it was going to be, and they had an empty-looking arena. So everybody on the sort of, gotcha side of the left right now is sort of laughing at the Trump campaign for having gotten trolled by these TikTok kids. This is the tent city, by the way. There are numerous tents that have been set up here, including some police barricades that have been moved to try to protect them. So this is sort of the emergent autonomous zone here in DC. Sorts, right in front of the St. John Church, and across from this fence of signs. The fence itself, of course, is protecting the bathroom building. Okay, this is Viva la Revolucion, which is a little bit more extreme language than just Black Lives Matter language. It is abolish the police, reform to fund abolish the police. Well, I don't know what the definition of H has is officially, but these couple streets, H Street and 16th Street, have been blocked off now for close to 4 weeks, basically just by nature of the fact they've had people strewn about the streets for that entire time. This whole section of the city here north of the White House is blocked off from traffic, and even if the police hadn't blocked it off, it would be blocked off. Hotels like the Hay Adams right here and the St. Regis down the street cannot access their front doors. And now you have this sort of cordoned off area, this sort of tent city that looks like the protesters took cones, traffic barricades, and other things now sort of set up a tent city here in the middle of H Street, which is the street that runs directly north of Lafayette Square, very close to the White House, a very significant street in Washington. Liquid, we have a donations thing. If you look at the PayPal link in the description of the video, we have set up a Food for Ducks fund. Trump is an asshole. Trump is a piece of shit. Oh, and just in case you didn't know what shit was, they drew a piece of shit just to help you understand that Trump is a piece of shit. Enough is enough. No justice, no peace. Here we have Black Lives. That's been there for a few weeks. Fuck Trump. Out Trump. Let's see. The devil don't want Trump. The devil don't want Trump. Interesting. I wonder who the devil does want. Trump sucks balls, and they drew some balls just to help everybody understand. That's what balls look like. Trump is racist. Thanks, random. Yeah, if you guys have tips for how we can label the channel to get better viewership. Okay, dump 45. A lot of sidewalk chalk out here today. It rained yesterday. This is all brand new. Arrest the cops who shot BT. Yeah, it's a good point, Liquid. Remove Confederate Donald from our White House. Trump guilty of EPA violations. Trump guilty, stop the police. Treat us like actual citizens. Invest in communities. Dismantle white supremacy. Stop killing us. Defund police, invest in community. Racist or rapist, both. Enough. America deserves more. Equality and justice for all. Fuck no. BLM. Treat us like humans and leave the White House. Stand against racists. Bunker bitch. This is all brand new sidewalk chalking since it rained late yesterday. Rip Big Floyd, BLM. Release the aliens. Kids in cages. Black people murdered. Protesters attacked. Trump attacked Americans. Fuck Trump. President Trump must go. Well, you guys get the idea of this messaging. I think the point is pretty straightforward. But if you guys do want to different, yeah, you might be on something different. I used to, I had a different channel once, and I sort of labeled things more along those lines, and those did get views. YouTube's gotten better about weeding that out, though. So this fence, obviously, is that where all the signs are posted, is protecting, you know, the bathroom building that was graffitied, climbed on, and then burned. That bathroom building sure has taken a beating the last few weeks. I'll tell you guys, it smells a lot right here. There might have been some human activities in this park that we could have used the bathroom building if it were open. There's Andrew Jackson. And we're walking down here toward the White House. So this is the White House in front of us. Let's see who's down here. But we do have I guess back to the point we were making a few minutes ago, we do have a duck fund now. And we've gotten a couple people that have helped support it. So thank you, people who have donated to the duck fund. Where the Satanists at? Oh, there's a sidewalk chalking a few minutes ago that said, "Devil don't want Trump." So if anybody knows who the devil does want, please let us know. Wow, this is actually very quiet. This was much noisier a couple nights ago. We can walk basically right up to the front gates here in front of the White House. A lot of signs. In this sort of,
I don't even know who the fuck you are.
There's a little vigil thing. Satanic marches starting at 5. Where? Audi lover.
Okay,
so we got a little shrine here with some flowers, a pineapple and a watermelon, some peaches, and a bunch more flowers and some candles. Interesting. Of course, there's the White House.
But it's like here. You like that? Because it's like you with the placement.
I've never heard this before.
And then there's the Secret Service police, I believe. They're blocking the front of the White House. If anybody were to make a run for it, you probably get over these barricades. That's about it. So very few people down here actually right at the White House. The street fair is in the tent city are moving in full force. Pretty quiet here. Yeah, they're there are some snipers up there on the roof. People pointing out.
Yeah.
So this is Lafayette Square. Lafayette Park. I forget what it's called. Lafayette Square, Lafayette Park. Andrew Jackson statue. And signs. All in the vicinity of Square here. So we'll take a look at 16th Street here, which is the main epicenter of the protest area. Let's see. Beyond the sidewalk chalking that we were just looking at, what's going on. Generally has been no racist ass police. No ass police, guys. Make a clown the president, the country will be a circus. White silence is violence. Black Lives Matter. No justice, no peace. Justice, no peace. Color is not a crime. No violence, yes peace. No racism, yes love. Teachers for Black Lives Matter. Well, let's go see if there's anything. Okay. Ray says, what do I think of Trump's rally? Attendance was a little light. I haven't listened to his whole 2.5-hour speech, but it was a long speech. I think he's struggling to figure out his messaging right now. It's going to take him a few rallies to figure out what his actual points are that get a lot of crowd response. He's been out of the public eye for a while. He doesn't really have a good feel for what the public's looking for right now. Does the Trump family use the front lawn to do stuff? Do they ever come out and wave? They probably use the back lawn. The back lawn is where most of the outdoor stuff happens. That's where the rose garden is. That's where the turkey pardoning happens. The Christmas tree lighting ceremony, etc. Not really the front lawn ever for any of the first families. Too toxic for anyone to be out in the front lawn. Imagine coming out, people yelling at. Yeah, I don't think anybody uses the front lawn of the White House, really. Maybe the side lawn of the West Wing. This is the epicenter of the protest zone, 16th Street. BL, BM. Actually, I can tell what that means. Say their names. Still have the defund the police written here. second block here with the St. Regis Hotel. A couple other buildings look they've had their doors painted here. A lot of people selling things. Brash is slow. Well, he's trying to make noise. You call that music, sucker? Respect the silence that serves as the basis of creativity, says Jake. Okay. The brashest slow jam MC Mac has ever heard, blowing too hard. Okay. Well, here we've got we've got a cello player. More people selling stuff.
Coconut, strawberry, peach, lemon,
This guy's selling
and plain apple.
pies.
Yes, ma'am.
People selling more shirts. Shirts. Okay, and this is the end of the area that's closed off. Yeah, sure thing, MC Mac. Let us know what you want to see next. Okay, this Audi is still here that's covered in a lot of painting. Wow, there's a whole other car covered in graffiti. Yeah, the Black Lives Matter sign in the street is really big. Cover the protests. Have you not seen that weird short guy that went viral going crazy on the trumpet player? I have not, really. Okay, we're now back walking down 16th. Ray, these are the protests. I mean, this is what's here in DC right now. So I don't know if there's something more is going to develop later tonight, but this is where the action is right now. In fact, there's something's going to happen at 5. I mean, it's after 5 now. There are not a ton of people out right now. What's supposed to happen? Ray, it's been like this continuously for like 4 weeks. So I don't know what's supposed to happen. This is just kind of how it is now out here. Every once in a while you get a and of course the St. John Church that was burned. Now there's some tents set up out in front of it. So, again, we'll take another look at this tent city over here. We got a lot of tents. Somebody spray painted Hertz on one of the columns of the St. John Church. Art. And then this is the tent city here in the vicinity of the White House. So DC doesn't really have an autonomous zone per se, but this is getting close. Be a great area to play frisbee. Random, you're like 3 blocks from the National Mall. That's a pretty good area to play frisbee. These tents have all been. This is Earl's tent, I guess. I don't know. Oh, there's like a whole temporary diner set up over here. So this is the spot where Trump did that photo op in front of the church. So they're like right here. Now it has
Hey, how you doing?
Earl's Grill.
How you doing, sir? Hey, sir. What are you recording for?
YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah.
What, are you with any news or what?
No, just out checking it out.
Come on over here, sir.
No, we're
Come on over here.
just walking around.
Go back so you can understand.
Here will be best served to not Oh, we got the Jesus Saves people out today. Yeah, different. Thanks for egging me on, man. The Jesus Saves signs. So this is kind of, there's not a whole lot more going on this direction on H Street. Some Black Lives Matter signage there. I have not heard anything about the Satanists except for what you guys are telling me. If there's anything from Satanists, there's Kill All Cops, BLM, fuck DCPD, DC Metropolitan Police, perhaps they mean. The Jesus people will surely be peaceful. Different sissies coming back. Jake, chat army rise. We're just trying to document here, guys. Alright. It's supposed to be in multiple areas all over the US. Imagine what will be when the sun goes down. Well, okay. Come to Boston. I can take you anywhere safely in the streets if you'd like. I've been to Boston. It's cold. Boston and Philadelphia seem quite similar. That is their preference between them. Boston's very cold, though. Claim 5 p.m. clearly not. Well, I don't know if they would be doing that in DC. I don't think the DC police would be particularly hospitable to a large Satanist rally, but maybe they would. Okay, Jake says, JK bro. You're good, thanks for being out there. RJ Rogan says, yeah, they are similar. Okay. I don't know what that's in reference to. Oh, Boston, yeah, Philly and Boston. Oh, people get really offended if I say I like Philadelphia more than Boston. I've spent pretty significant time in both. I don't know if I... Boston's nice. DC's better. Let's see if there's a lot of people out here.
Do you have them in a medium?
But we'll go...
I take that.
It's another block or two this way. See what we're dealing with here. So we got a lot of boards here. There's GF for George Floyd. This is, I think, the Metropolitan Club, which does not look like itself here with scaffolding. The doors are boarded up too. So we got some military machinery down here at the end of the street. I think posting a link to the event. I think posting it, but it doesn't seem to make a shortcut. Why don't you just tell us about it, Audi Lover? One of the Floyd cops out on bail. Probably the one that didn't kill him, I would imagine. DC and Boston had the best park scenes. Boston's park scene? You got you mean like stuff happening in the parks or the parks themselves? MC Max says, I like DC better than Philly. Never been to Boston. Philly has the Bell, though. I touched it once. Back when you were able to. Must be kind of tough to be a black police officer right now. I would imagine so. Punk scenes. Oh, punk scenes, not park scenes. Okay, I wouldn't really know anything about either city's punk scene. I thought Seattle was like Seattle's grunge, not punk. I don't know where punk is. Punk is... Audi Lover, are you a Satanist? So we got some pretty big military machinery here. Or at least, I don't know what these trucks are. A lot of cops. Grunge is like a progressive from punk. Bad Brains, says Kevin. You've had on all your media? I don't know. I haven't really followed the news today, but I've not really heard anything about Satanism. Some more big police stuff. Cleanup equipment, yeah. National Guard's out, yeah. National Guard's comes out usually on the weekends now. They've got these don't look like necessarily National Guard stuff, but some of the street corners do have like Humvees, things like that. Clearly National Guard stuff out on the corners. So, yeah, I'm actually surprised how much activity there is this far over protests. Oh, this mostly looks like street blockage here. There's the view kind of across the White House grounds, the top of the Trump Tower. Sad what happened to the country, man. It's a little nuts right now. More than a little. It's very nuts right now. We are, as a country, tearing ourselves apart. I'm not entirely sure why. All right, so we finally found a quiet block. Walking here alongside the wall of the World Bank. Divide and conquer tactics. Yeah, there's a lot of sort of tactical politics that is not helping anything right now. And it's really been driving American politics for quite a while, unfortunately. So I'm gonna head down this direction a bit. Do you guys want us to go back to the protests, or do you guys want to see ducks? We said we were going to do a more duck-heavy stream today, but if the consensus here is protests, then we can do more protests. Okay, so Audi's saying it's happening here in the UK too. At least we even have guns. Okay, so you guys want protests, so we'll head back that way. Kind of walking through this no man's land here. We're kind of in the area of George Washington University. Which is kind of right next to the White House. So I'm gonna wait for these cars. So I'm gonna go right here. That's the old executive office building, which is right next to the White House. Jake says ducks. Okay, we kind of got a split decision here. Okay, 1 vote for ducks, 2 votes for ducks, 1 vote for protests. 3 votes for ducks, 2 votes for protests. It's 3-3. Great, guys. Give me a tie. Okay, a couple more protests. Okay, we'll do a few minutes with the protests. We're heading back to the White House here. Any swans, RJ asks. I don't know that we've seen swans, mostly ducks and geese. We had a lot of duck action yesterday, including some ducklings eating leg bread. We also had a bunch of geese that blocked our path around the Jefferson Memorial and had to help smuggle some ducks out of custody over there. It's amazing, we're like a block from the protests and it's like, well, 2 blocks, and it's really dead here. It's Porta-Johns. Lays some huge eggs and tasty too. Swan, you mean? We're not fans of geese though. 5 chickens. How do you love her? Where do you live? You seem like you live in a farm. No goose eggs. Geese are no good all around. They're very... Duck eggs, yummy. Okay. UK in the country. Now something's not adding up, because when I look at the analytics of our videos of the Protest Ducks series, which has now been going on for 3.5 weeks, it's showing me that the analytics are looking like 80% United States, and yet it seems like the chat every time is like all UK and EU people. Euros just talk the most. Geese are good guard dogs. Yeah, they probably are. What happens if a goose gets in a fight with a dog? My goose is a bit of a dick, but she's lovely when you pet her. Yeah, I guess I don't spend a lot of time trying to pet the geese. Our media tells us more stuff. UK media is pretty bad, though. UK media is pretty partisan. I think US media in the last few years has probably gotten worse, but I remember being in the UK in like 2014, and you guys had really partisan media. It really depended on which newspaper you picked up. Whether David Cameron was like totally evil or like a perfectly fine guy. Random is Canadian. got a bunch of cops out here. So around that corner right there is H Street. So then there's some more military machinery right there. So we'll be back in the heart of the protest here in about 30 seconds. Maybe a minute or two. Do they want, Ray, who are you asking about? Okay, we got another person talking about the Luciferians about it today. I've not seen anything to that effect, but you're the second person who's brought it up here. So I don't know. Do you guys have any intel on any, Satanist protests in DC? I have not heard anything about that. I think there's a great excitement right now that people are feeling. People want like some kind of conflict of some kind. Luciferians are BS. I'll have to find out. I don't think there's been any major protest today, and by and large, the protest here has been generally quiet today. Satanism is a rabbit hole subject. It's like a 4chan prank. All right, so we're now heading into the main core of H Street again. We're walking by, on our left side here, there's the Oval Room, which is that upscale restaurant that was hit at the beginning of the protest, and Teaism was also hit a couple weeks ago. Those two restaurants were hit pretty badly at the beginning of the protests. So as soon as we get past these barricades, we'll be right back in the heart of everything. It sounds like the left is coming to play on the troll side this time, though. This prank they pulled on the Trump rally attendants last night. This is going to be very strange what happens over the next couple of months. Both sides probably perpetually trying to troll each other. Maybe they like the night. They could like the night. Usually things get a little bit crazier at night. Satanism, Freemasonry, KKK. MC, I'm not sure you know what you're talking about there. Those three things really have no formal relationship to one another whatsoever. Certainly the Freemasons do not. Freemasons are one of the most overhyped organizations that's out there. If there was any time in history where they had a major influence on public policy, that time is certainly not now. You would be surprised how little influence they have.
It's like a street festival.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Freemasons are basically a community service organization for old men. It's like the Kiwanis Club. Their secrets are generally about their admissions criteria. You know, they have a few secret signs, things like that. Shriners. Audi, that's not true either. There are lots of people that have, very well-connected and high-level positions in the world. There's no particular relationship between people being Freemasons and those levels of power and authority and friendship. Yeah, the Key Club definitely is one of those things that's going to change the world about as much as the Freemasons. So, just saying, the area here directly in front of the White House has pretty few people. There's not a lot of activity here. There's some signs. I think cartels are invading America. You should look into it, buddy. It's a lot worse than you think. Howdy's very insistent. Trump can't be a leader if you're a cheater. White silence equals complicity. Restricted area, do not enter. I don't think that's a protest sign. It's a police sign. Racist, rapist, bunker bitch. Loud and proud, Black Lives Matter. They haven't seen the best of us yet. Defund the police. This is not enough. Prove it. Black Lives Matter. No, Audi, it's not. Cartel's one of the biggest national security issues. Could be. Get this SOB out of the White House. Gay pride flag. BLM. I can't breathe. Silence equals violence. We all bleed the same color. Donald Trump is small dick energy. The women who voted for him are the same women who fake orgasms. Hey, hex the patriarchy. Trump, a racist coward. Audi, I think you're a little all over the place, man. You've kind of thrown out some random fraternities, some of which have some influence and some don't. Fresh frozen luxury, black's beautiful, stop killing beauty. Nonviolent protesting is allowed by the Constitution. Trump's lovers would disagree with. Okay. So it's mostly just signs here. Defund the police, invest in education, healthcare, and communities. And then this tent is pretty much always here. This tent is here. Usually it's sort of anti-nuclear proliferation. Black Lives Matter, equality, justice, no human rights violations, peace. There's the White House. Convert the war machine. They pull up all the flowers from the flower beds, I think in anticipation of large groups of people. So this park usually has a lot more flowers and things like that, but it's much more of a functional park right now, a place for people to demonstrate.
think y'all can take a picture next to this. This is nice.
Jake says we had to do like that outside Parliament protesting wars in the Middle East. Police moved him eventually. I think he died. R.I.P. There again is the bathroom building. It's torched. Now there's a fence around it. Yeah, the White House has had people kind of sitting out in front in tents and things like that for a long time, protesting different issues. But it's never been like this for this long a period of time in this area. This is pretty new, having entire streets blocked off like this. There's the Jesus Saves people again here in front of the White House. So before we were checking out some of the signs here. Sidewalk chalked. This is all new. It rained yesterday, so this means all these sidewalk chalk, all this sidewalk chalking is new. Trump attacked Americans. Press Trump must go with a smiley face in the O. An exclamation point. Bigger before here, Trump is a piece of shit. And just in case you didn't know what shit was, there's the drawing of shit. Just to help you understand. Trump is a asshole. I guess that's a drawing of an asshole. In case you didn't know what those look like. Free swag, BLM. Trump is an ass. And there's Trump sucks balls. There's balls. If you didn't know what balls look like, that's what balls look like. Chalk your charges. Equality. Trump. So we read a bunch of these before. Remove Confederate Donald from our White House. Fund the education of blacks. Stop the police. Trump guilty. Guilty. Let me buy some shirts. Some people, I agree. They're nuts too. What if all 4 cops walk? Then you might get a lot more street activity. See you, man. Good luck. Careful, says RJ. Alright, so we're walking back up 16th Street, which actually feels even a little bit quieter now than it was a few minutes ago. Dinner time for me, Audi says. I'll probably be back later. Bye, guys. Thanks, Audi. I think the trombone guy is gone. Okay, Patrick, no, you haven't missed the ducks. We're doing protests first, so ducks are next. So, we're on, now that you're here, we're gonna make our move toward the ducks. We got some Audis painted with messaging. All right. Unless anybody has any objections, we're going to start making a move toward the ducks. I think some of our loudest pro-protest voices just left us for dinner. So let me know if anybody has objections. So gradually making a shift in the duck direction here. Something smells very good there. Ducks need bread, John says. Yes, they do. This guy's got a pretty good voice. I'd rather see the protests later and start kicking off in the ducks while there's still daylight. That's a good point, Jake. I don't know if they're really going to get a whole lot more intense later. I would be surprised if the satanic protests or whatever people are describing becomes bigger. But if it does, then we'll come and check it out, or at least check out the aftermath. If you guys hear anything in the zeitgeist, let me know. I'm not tracking Twitter or 4chan or any of that stuff, so whatever's being said, let me know. So, yeah, no, this area was totally packed a couple weeks ago. Even as late as Friday, there were a lot of people out here. It's just been a lot quieter today. So is murder legal in protest cities now? It's not legal, but if you get rid of the enforcement mechanism, I don't know what you can do about it. I assume that's an allusion to the fact that New York and Minneapolis had a lot of murders last night. Minneapolis alone had, I think, at least one person, shot 11 people last night. And if you go back and look historically, obviously there's been a little bit of uptick in violence in cities shortly after, big police protests, because policing gets ramped down a bit for a while. Murder in Chaz is illegal. The cops apparently aren't allowed to investigate Satanic protests, I don't know, maybe. Evil comes out at night. Luckily, we've had a relatively peaceful run of nights in DC. Yesterday we did check out the statue of Albert Pike, which had been knocked over. Not too far from where I live. So there's some people still arriving here. And some people heading out. A lot of the streets still blocked off. So you guys are doing math. I count around a 10-minute countdown to ducks from this point. Come on. Right. So is the enforcement group in Chaz just the John Brown Gun Club? Chaz is really like starting the whole country over. You've got this sort of an independent militia. We'll see where that leads. I guess that McDonald's. Is that McDonald's? I guess it's open. So we're gradually heading down, what is the 17th Street here? So we were just in the heart of the protest area. America's becoming Venezuela, Ray says. There's a lot more graphic graffiti today. Saw a lot more imagery of some of the things that people were talking about. I'm amazed at how quickly the sidewalk chalking got replaced after the rain yesterday. Even though there weren't that many people out. There's no chanting or no messaging like that today. So we're just headed down now 17th Street. There's the old executive office building. I'm gonna turn here. It takes a little bit more in the direction that we need to go. I'm not even sure what street this is. So there was some discussion earlier of secret societies, or not secret societies, but societies that may have secrets. Audi was insistent that several of them have all kinds of secret powers and influence. We're talking about Satanists that might be descending on DC, or maybe not. Or protests in the evening. Somebody said at 5 we encountered no traces of Satanist protests. I'm not sure what that would look like. I don't know what the rationale behind Satanist protests would be right now. Something with an eclipse, maybe. Seems like that would be just throwing even more onto an already messy situation. A lot of question marks about where America's going, where the city's going. I mean, if Satanist reptilians are anywhere, it's DC. You know, it's really... I would love to be a part of some of those Bilderberg group meetings. I think the last one of those happened in Virginia somewhere. So one clip of a band of Satanists protesting. They were very obvious, black cloaks, heavy makeup. Was that like the Trenchcoat Mafia? These all just cartels from everywhere around the world. Ray, you were big into conspiracy theories. Give us some more material here, man. Like human trafficking or drug trafficking? There is a lot more human trafficking out there than people realize. There's all these undercover police vehicles parked around. Drug, human, weapons trafficking. Yeah, that's probably true. They look like goths. Promise they want to protect the people. But could they actually protect the people? It's like goths are just kind of regular people, aren't they? There's no like special training you need to be a Satanist, is there? America has this habit of sort of driving ourselves into a frenzy. One of the really interesting phenomena of the last 30 years was that satanic panic from around 1990, when there was a huge frenzy nationwide believing that there was like a massive satanic infusion into the United States where daycare workers were becoming Satanists en masse and trying to corrupt children. And it was all born out of like one shoddy investigation of one case where there was some suspected abuse that I don't think even happened. But America does have this tendency to really stir ourselves up into a frenzy over things. Humanity does generally, but America especially seems to do it quite a lot. Satanic infusion equals leftism. One of the protest sidewalk chalk signs was telling us that the devil don't want Donald Trump, so I'm not sure who the devil do want. Jihadists break down people and recreate them as sleeper agents. That's what I think operate these protests. Oh, that's interesting. I thought we were headed more in the direction of like less formal jihadist cells, though. That, you know, that ISIS was like the future of jihadism and not the sort of more formal training systems. Remember when He-Man and Transformers were considered satanic? It also happened with Harry Potter in the beginning. You know, a lot of things get written off as satanic, but nothing quite like that satanic panic back in the early 90s. That was like nationwide, you know, desperate fear amongst people that their daycare workers were Satanists. That was like gripping the entire nation. And there was, turned out, no truth in it whatsoever. Yeah, MC, I don't know. Trouble with sidewalk chalk signs is you don't really have a lot of opportunity to engage with the artist usually. By the way, we just walked through some of the campus of George Washington University and now crossing this set of parks here along E Street, which are usually not very heavily used because they're very full of homeless people. But I guess they're used by homeless people, so maybe they are heavily used. And we're now about a block and a half from Ducks, so we're almost there. I don't know if Patrick's still around, but I'm sure he's getting impatient. Satanists are usually pretty cool people, to be honest. I've known a few. Well, we're almost there, Patrick. Satanists are usually pretty cool people. I don't know if I've really known any Satanists. I guess I've never really had reason to ask if people were Satanists. What's the premise? Like, what are Satanists trying to achieve on Earth? This is one of the deadest blocks I've ever been down in Washington. Look at the side of this building. It's like absolutely nothing. We're sort of walking amongst the Federal Reserve here. Self-serve, hedonism, indulging, etc. This is different. Satanists are just LARPers, though they don't really believe anything. It's just a troll against the religious. Okay. I've known one who's pretty quiet and shy. He belonged to a lodge. So they're actually lodges of Satanists. That's interesting. Some are non-theist. Theist ones are kooky. Are they just really like... Are they disenchanted, formerly religious people? Or is there some, like, other motivation? Yeah, so this is the Federal Reserve campus. So a lot of, speaking of a conspiracy theory topic, a lot of people have a lot of theories about the Federal Reserve. It's a mix, a lot of that. Okay. Do you know about the South Africa reparations, white farmers being slaughtered and raped for reparations? Yeah, Ray, I was in South Africa for a lot of that. When a lot of that was sort of at its peak.
However, I was walking. Well, we'll be visiting you down there.
Hey, Jelen. Jelen sends 3 ducks. We're on our way to the Ducks. We spent some time checking out the protests, and now we're about a block away from Ducks. Satanists is just a form of religion of dark variety. But what are they? So, like, what does it mean to worship Satan? Like, I get being disenchanted with religion or just wanting to sort of be edgy, but like, what are you actually believing if you're a Satanist? And how does that influence your day-to-day life? It's just like self-pleasure day to day? Is that all it is? Okay, Tux says he likes ducks. Okay, Jelen wants baby ducks. We'll try to find some baby ducks. See what we can find. People worship God while others worship Satan. Yeah, but tell me more about the what is like Satan telling people to do? Satan is symbolic for opposition to the status quo. So the status quo is God. The status quo is not that great, though. Satan means opposer after all. Okay. Let's see. Do we have traffic here? I guess we do. I guess we gotta wait. There's our duck pond. We're like literally right here. There was a post. Okay, is this the same thing seeing America, South Africa. You know, South Africa has such an interesting story of the, you know, obviously the sort of actions that led to the rise of Nelson Mandela were very, you know, there's a lot of sort of domestic terrorism in there and things like that that led to that. But then Nelson Mandela himself was, you know, very much for restorative justice and kind of forgiving all sins and healing all wounds. And since he has passed, South Africa has sort of dug itself a spiral of really unproductive efforts at retribution and equalization. They've kind of dug themselves a really big hole. The legacy of Nelson Mandela has really been lost there. It's very sad. I hope we're not headed in that direction, Ray. So posted the day about DC's streets around the White House making a pentagram that was put there by Satanic Masons. Yeah, that's Jake. Yeah, that's a pretty old story. I mean, that was you know, the pentagram was a very popular symbol in those days, and you know, Masons were people who designed Washington were among Freemasons, and you know, some of that imagery very much contributed to the physical layout of the city. Carousing or stirring up trouble is what Satanists do all day. Okay. So we've got some ducks over here. We'll go hang out with some of these ducks. See if we can, we got a little duck circle happening here. We'll hang out with them for a little bit. See how this goes. Okay, it's about doing what thou wilt and anarchy. They believe in order out of chaos. If you read Anton LaVey's book, it starts off sounding good, but takes a dark turn afterwards. Okay, notice the witch is doing spells against Trump thing too. It's pretty nuts. Okay, Patrick, yeah, we got some ducks here. Pentagon can be seen as a pentagram pointing directly at the White House. Yeah, this is like the symbology stuff that's all through like National Treasure and the Da Vinci Code. Nice spot, no bikes will come past. We can hope. We gotta see how many ducks we can actually attract over here though. If they notice. So, witches against the patriarchy, it's silly as fuck. Okay. The gray duck is beautiful. Oh yeah, there's a gray duck over here. Right in front of us. Got some ducks making noise. Oh, we got some land ducks coming our way. The guy who repeated that line, do what that will, he claimed his lodge was benign. Come here, white duck. Land ducks, yeah, we got some land ducks on the way. A couple male sparrows here. Land duck planning to attack, run. No, the land ducks don't attack. Hey, Colin. Colin's back. We just got to the ducks. We were doing protests for a while. Now we're here at the ducks. pita bread. Kevin thinks we have like a very diverse bread pantry. Any of you land ducks interested? Have you seen a Muscovy duck before, Audilus? No, I don't think so. We got a little bit of duck feuding here. Staying late, please. I'll be back later, man. I'm so drunk. Colin, I thought you had gone sober. All duck lives matter. Okay. They have red turkey faces. My one looks like a seagull with a duck turkey face. Interesting. Look at Muscovy duck. Cool looking duck. Sounds interesting. Let's see. Oh, we got some more land ducks here. These land ducks are a little more standoffish. At least so far. This green duck is trying to intimidate off white duck a little bit. Do It That Will was Crowley. He was only a Satanist if you were using the term very broadly. Tux says likes roasted ducks. Oh, got a little bit of infighting here between the ducks. Oh, we got some more land ducks coming at us. Colin's playing Call of Duty. Okay, you guys are deep in the weeds on a discussion of famous Satanists here. My duckaroo is called April, says Audi. He's an occultist. I'll be back if you're still on. I need my duck fix. Colin, where are you going? Why don't you just stick around? Why don't you go get your alcohol and bring it here? Playing Call of Duty. That TikTok event regarding the Trump rally is annoying. Sounds like the left has come into play on the trolling side. Sort of the exclusive domain of the right the last time around. You might play better. The ducks will cheer you on, Colin. Muscovy are so ugly that they're cute. Oh, come here. Don't run away. You guys are running away. Well, you're just waiting for us over here. But I gotta help out the water ducks. They're getting a little lonely. Got some a little bit vocal ducks. You're just biting my hand. We got white privileged duck is back over here. Somehow I guess they must migrate between the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool and Constitution Gardens here, unless there are actually two white privileged ducks. One that lives there and one that lives here. These are making a lot of splashing. Where are you guys going? You guys are all like walking off. Yeah, white privileged duck is right over here. White privileged duck's a little standoffish today. White privileged duck was being a real jerk last weekend. Tunnel under the water. Super secret Freemason tunnel. That could be. That's a good thought, Jake. It'd be much easier for them to swim underwater than to fly the 30 feet between the two reflecting ponds. Oh, jeez. Jesus. Your beak hurts. White privileged duck is just kind of standing back this time. Actually getting bullied a little bit by some of the other ducks. We got some more ducks on their way. They're all adult ducks here for the moment. Addie, is that part of your job? Or are you just really obsessed? Okay, here comes white privileged duck is finally coming alive a little bit. Got this whole collection of girl ducks over here. These ducks are being very vocal. What is going on here? DC has underground tunnels. DC has some underground tunnels. Depends what people are referring to when they talk about that. They look like, yeah, the bread brings all the ducks to the yard. As long as they socially distance. Look like peaceful protesters to me. Sometimes they're a little violent with each other. Generally, they're not bad. This white privilege duck finally got one. Yeah, there are planes overhead. They're predominantly military surveillance planes keeping an eye on the ducks. It's actually the main purpose of the Air Force. Yeah. These two are fighting a little bit. Colin's gonna need to go land, playing like ass. Hope you are still here. Everybody wish Colin some better Call of Duty play. Oh, geez. Looks like green duck here bit a big piece of feather off of white privilege duck. What was that, guys? That's literally a piece of white privilege duck's backside. These two don't get along. Foreshadowing, Jake says. I think it was this guy. This guy did it to white privilege duck. This guy. White privilege duck is a cop? I thought we thought the geese were the cops. And this duck is preventing white privilege duck from going back and getting his own feather. Jeez. Let's try this. Oh, jeez. Here's these two ducks that are right here. They're both being pretty bossy. I think we got to help out our water ducks a little bit more. We've been neglecting them on behalf of the land ducks, and they're starting to swim away a little bit. It's like white privileged duck is now a water duck. Is that how ducks drink? Here's white privileged duck. It is, we sometimes do white. Today we're doing wheat. Well, this guy's like right around the corner here, just waiting for us. Here you go. How about you? So white privileged duck was in a tussle with some of the other ducks a few minutes ago. That little tuft right there is actually feathers from white privileged duck that one of the other ducks ripped out of his backside. Tian Fen says yes for Satanism in the greatest country in the world. Okay. Joe Biden's hairy legs want foie gras. Jake says this is how ducks drink. I don't know what is Jake referring to. Duck tussle over here. Tian Fen, what are you talking about? Its throne is 555 feet tall. It sits upon a 55.5 feet pyramid. Duck's the only one not in her house. Have to chase her out the pool. Too friendly compared to other birds. Addy's got some ducks of his own. Patrick says watching the ducks is just so relaxing. I'm glad. You sit on the side in a row and bobbing your head synchronized. I wonder, that could be. Got some very gray crows. Crows are the police, I think. What is Tian talking about? My goose and duck fight all the time. Yeah, geese and duck don't always seem to get along particularly well. Corn to feed a wild turkey in my yard. There's some ugly birds. Yeah. Joe Biden, where are you from? The way to get rid of the crows is for all the land ducks to become water ducks again. New Jersey. You got to get your state in order. South Jersey, like Camden? What about you? You're just over here waiting. Oh, you still got it. Still got it. Should start a duck fighting ring. I think the military wins, or goose military wins. Even the cats and dogs scared of her. Yeah, probably. Geese are like not great. Goose always wins. Haha. Even the cat and dog scared of her. No more south. 15 minutes from Delaware. Crows sit on people's cars around here. Cheeky ones try to come through the windows. Fair referee. I don't think geese are fair referees. These crows are being really loud. So we had another donation to the duck fund from Clayton yesterday. I just wanted to, I don't know who that is, but whoever Clayton is, thank you for the duck donation. Very helpful as we try to make sure that we give sustenance to our duck friends here. It's a duck donation relay front for Black Lives Matter. It is not. It goes to nothing other than sustenance for the ducks. But if you want to put conditions in your donation, you can certainly do that when you provide it. Goose even scares my rooster. There you go, white privileged duck. Yeah, white privileged duck gets scared by the other ducks. Do we learn anything more about the Satanists, guys? Are they, in fact, coming to DC tonight? This green duck is really big. It's not like we were... MC Mac went on YouTube looking for protests, found ducks. Can't be mad at that. Would you like them to be protesting ducks, Satanist ducks? Yesterday we had definitely some ducks and geese engaged in a territorial battle. The geese were clearly winning because there were a lot of them over by the Jefferson Memorial. And we had to help smuggle a couple of ducks out of captivity. So we helped lead them back to the Franklin Roosevelt Memorial. Duck march at 8. Yeah, we just don't know, what are they marching for, Joe Biden? Protesters open fire on other protesters. Will the military do anything? Yeah, I think that's the military's job to step in if that happens. Caught footage of Satanist ducks, I think it would go viral. As opposed to these normal protesting ducks. To poop on the statues. They pooped on my shoe the other day. If you guys really want must-see TV, the other day we were out to go see the ducks and we accidentally caught footage of somebody on Pennsylvania Avenue defecating on the side of the street. Very fascinating YouTube content. I've not seen the show about the satanic dog. What do you think about the duck force? Do you think it's real? Tell me more about the duck force, Patrick. Is it like a new branch of the military? White privilege duck sure gets around. So he's back in the back now. Duck Force 5? What am I missing, guys? What is Duck Force 5? Duck force is what gives a duck his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. Oh, wow. That sounds very intense. You've noticed vertical streaks on the windows, on the walls? No, I don't know. Different. Is there like a... If that is like some serial effort to like deface the city, I don't know. Thought it was probably a utilitarian exercise. But on the other hand, there are a lot of porta-johns up in the vicinity of the White House these days, so I don't know why somebody would be going out on the side of the street. Pennsylvania Avenue is a pretty public place to do it. There's a lot of back alleys that you'd think people would go to first as their destination of first resort. Colleen says, aw. Yeah, we got some duckies, Colleen. We typically stream with the ducks most protest afternoons. Sometimes we do protests. Today we did about an hour and a half of protests, and we've been here at the ducks ever since. There's the Washington Monument, by the way. Very close to all the protest action here with the ducks. Some days we get babies, some days we get duck and goose fights. Every day it's something a little bit different. Got some ducks. I've never been able to get white privilege duck to have the courage to come and hand feed. Oh, there's white privilege duck got out again. If you guys want, we can make a little trek over to the Lincoln Memorial and try to see if we can find some babies. Or we can stick around here and hang out with white privilege duck and friends. Ray says walk. What is walk? What do you mean walk, Ray? We could also try to do a duck walk. See how far we can get them to come with us. Patrick, yesterday we had them eating off my leg. You guys want to walk around? Okay. What about you? Now, see, white privilege duck is still shy. Greenhead duck is much more ambitious. What about you, other greenhead duck? It's because they bully him? Actually, could be. He's been a kind of a bully to them last weekend, though. But yeah, they bullied him so bad they actually pulled off a bunch of his feathers over here. It's kind of unfortunate. Audi says, one of my chickens is sitting on eggs at the moment, so I'll have little chicks soon. She's sitting on another chicken's egg, so we hope they'll all hatch. Oh, white privilege duck is making a scene. Beautiful day again for ducks. Found it interesting that teenage TikTok users and K-pop fans claim responsibility for low attendance at Trump rally. Subversion and sabotage takes many forms. Yeah, left is coming to play on the trolling this time around. Hey, Beefy. This curl duck down here is making a lot of noise at us. Not sure what all the noise is about. Well, I said the right wing didn't know how to Twitter until Donald Trump sort of took over the medium. If the left is kind of taking over trolling now, then, you know, that will force another shift in presidential politics. Any of you? There are 5 of you there. None of you want to have courage? What about you? Any of you? Boy, you guys are all being very shy. And white privilege duck is still just hanging out in the back. Trump didn't say anything for 2 hours straight last night. Tim Pool made a good point about how Russian social media subversion got everyone annoyed in 2016, but Chinese subversion is laughed off as just some teenagers. White privilege duck is in the water. I thought tickets were free. I didn't know they wasted money. It's pretty hot in DC today, actually. It's like upper 80s. Yeah, I would assume they were free, as political rally tickets are pretty much always free. No. Yeah, I think they were free. I think you just had to sign up on Twitter, and I think that's what they did. That just made. The arena had, I don't know, like, let's say 19,000 seats. The official attendance was like 6,200. So it wasn't particularly large. Good spread out, obviously, but so I think what we're going to do, if you guys don't object, why don't we take a little bit of a spin back toward the Lincoln Memorial and see if we can find some baby ducks over there. What do you guys think about that? If not, we can come back and revisit these guys. I don't think they're going too far. Talks a lot of the Democratic politicians and the media voices were very, very complimentary of it. We'll try to get some of them to follow. Looks like a lot of them are just hanging out in the water, though. Come on, ducks. Oh, white privilege duck is coming. All right, see you, Audi. Hey, Cypher. Will I ever visit Chaz in Seattle? Chaz is like, at Chaz, I'd need to get on about a 7-hour flight to Seattle. Duck over there on the bridge has decided to not follow us. We were up at the whole first hour of the coverage today was protests. So there wasn't a lot going on, but there was a little bit up there. The tent city is pretty ingrained now. Yeah. Oh, looks like we lost one of them. Okay, we lost our couple of ducks there. A bunch out here, kind of in the middle of the pond. But we're gonna go to the Lincoln Memorial and see if we can find some babies. And if not, we will come back to the pond here. Atlanta would be the next Chaz. Why Atlanta? Oh, because Atlanta's had a lot of protests, I guess. Atlanta had a whole nother shooting. I think you need sort of the culture of protesting to make a Chaz happen, which is something that Seattle and Portland have, but not a lot of the other cities to the same extent. Washington Monument. A couple little ducks here, just sitting on the side. Atlanta shooting was justified. I think they'll let Chaz burn on its own. The government will step out of it. Can't imagine it will stay that way for months. Guys, I don't know what the end game is right now with these protests. It seems like in a lot of cities, this has just kind of become a way of life for people now. To have entire portions of major cities just boarded up and blocked off and full of protesters all the time. This is not like, past generations where people got sick of it after a week or two. It seems like we're perfectly content to have that keep going on. Wish they would declare martial law in Seattle. Okay. I think the Atlanta shooting was justified. I mean, from a police perspective, yeah, the Atlanta shooting was absolutely justified. I guess there's some question about the policy, but I don't know what you would have I don't know what realistically you could have a police officer do differently in that situation. I think they should have shot him sooner, like we mounted the cop. Chaz's territory was reduced to 3 blocks after negotiations with the city. I mean, I don't know why the city is negotiating. I mean, this is just going to induce more of it. I mean, the question I was asked is, if this were a different cause, how would we feel about it? If this were, say the KKK taking over several blocks of a city and claiming, righteousness in their cause as justification to violate the law, I don't think people would be as forgiving on it. We've got a lot of grass ducks here. Let's see if we can find some baby duck families. Where are they? We have a bunch of grass ducks here. Looks like that's a second white duck. I think there actually might be multiple white privileged ducks. Okay, we have people swimming in the World War II memorial like it's a swimming pool. Great. That's interesting. There's significantly more people down there just swimming in the World War II memorial like it's a swimming pool. That's really something, guys. That is beyond pretty tacky. That is... boy. We got some ducklings here. We gotta tread very carefully with them, but wait for this lady to hopefully not scare them into the water. Ugh. because I'm not sure why. Bikers felt the need to ding at them.
They're so cute.
Well, as you guys can tell, we had kids scare them back in the water again. It's been a recurring theme this weekend. Yeah, MC, the water's about a foot deep. We're trying very hard to stay quiet because we had some success the last few days with some of the ducklings of winning their trust eventually and getting them to come very, very close, including eating off of my leg yesterday. Unfortunately, we had some kids come by and scare the ducklings away. into the water. So, see what we can do for them here today. I need to be a little more strategic here. Yeah, of course, Beefy. We got a whole nother family of ducklings here. These ducklings meeting ducklings. Yeah, it's a ducklings versus ducklings fight. We got parents attacking children now. Hey! I'm trying to attract some ducklings today. They're a little standoffish. We got a land duck over here. Yeah, I don't think they would take it too kindly if people got in the pool. Although, you know, people were swimming in the World War II memorial over there, so I don't know, maybe. Okay, I'm going back to the chat. Ray wants to live in Tent City now. Ray, I don't know if the Tent City seemed like that would be that much fun to live in. Yeah, Corona would not be allowed here. Plus, I think there's a virus you can get from drinking too much Corona. Yeah, sorry about the light, Jake. We do what we can. Ducky. Hey, baby ducks. Baby ducks. Baby duck got scared at the last second. Might come around a couple times. Baby ducks. This mama duck is definitely preventing these baby ducks from getting too close. Yeah, this duck out front here is kind of bad news as far as getting us access to baby ducks. Ray, it depends how much time we have. You guys liking the ducks, or you want to go back to protests? Why don't you go away? Beefy's loving the ducks. Okay. Man, we saw a lot of protests. You guys want to stay here? I'm good with that. Baby ducks. Oh, baby ducks. Baby ducks. Baby ducks. Just go. Oh, baby ducks. There he goes. Yeah, babies are starting to grow up a little bit. Come on, baby ducks. There you go. Here he comes. Here he comes. got scared. A little bit scared. Come back around slowly. Here it comes. Here they come. I don't know what this mama duck's deal is. She's really preventing her babies from getting close. She's trying to keep these two families apart. Of course, this land duck at our right is snatching up all the land bread. They're just looking cute. Don't trust them. They're just looking cute. Okay. What do you think their nefarious plot is, Steve? Is in lives now multi-feed again? Jake, what is that on Twitch or what is that on? On YouTube. Okay. We should go over there and tell people to come here directly. Oh, we got another little family feud over here. I got some more baby duckies over here. I don't know what this mama duck in the middle is trying to keep the two families apart. I don't know what her deal is. I wonder if I just moved down a little bit, if that would change the situation at all. If I just came down this way, if then they would have more confidence with me. Yeah, that mama duck's just... I'm being shadow banned, Ray says. Sort of. The whole system just... Yeah, this... Compton now rioting, great. They're very standoffish. I don't know what that was all about. This one duck is just chasing everybody out of the way. For some reason, these two families think they have to stay separate. This middle duck is just trying to keep everybody on their side. She's been very effective. Keeping everybody on a side. Yeah, she's not letting them get close to the bread now. See, I was hoping that was going to buy them time, but she's right back. Here we go. Come on, babies. Come on, babies, have courage. Mac is leaving. Thanks, Mac. Thanks for subscribing. Homeland Security doing their job? No, it seems like we have a very insecure homeland right now. Yeah, we got a duck protest, Tiago. We're up watching the regular protests here in DC, and the ducks were protesting on behalf of free bread. So we're here in the shadow of the Lincoln Memorial, hanging out with ducks. And this mean middle duck that keeps trying to keep the little duckling families apart from each other. Today is the longest day of the year in Washington, D.C. So it will never stay light later than it is tonight here in Washington. Guys, well, got duck family number 1, duck family number 2, and evil middle duck who is enforcing the separation of families here. And even if I come over this direction, she's going to come over and make sure they stay separated. Yeah, she's going to... Somehow, every time she forces them apart. It's definitely a duck heron of some kind. Yeah, she's even willing to like beat up the little kids to keep them apart. Little babies. Now she's going to chase them to my left. For the moment, they're right in front of me, but she's going to come and chase them away, make them go this direction. She's being a total jerk here. She's going to prevent the babies from coming too far this direction. Now they're back. And she's going to come chase them away again. Beautiful sunset here at the Lincoln Memorial on the longest day of the year in Washington. With ducks. It's a family of young ducks. It's a family of slightly older ducks. The older ducks. Yeah, it's a beautiful evening, Beefy. Major duck tussle. All right. Ducks. In the shadow of Lincoln Memorial. Does anybody have any updates on Compton? I'll slowly start heading back this direction. Morons yelling at cops. It's not dark enough for action yet. Yikes. See where that heads later tonight. Alright, and then there's sunset with the Lincoln Memorial. Now the longest day of the year here in Washington. And then, so earlier, we were observing people swimming here in the World War II Memorial. Quite a few, actually. Quite a few people swimming in the World War II Memorial. And still have a couple people down here swimming in the memorial like it's a bath, like it's a swimming pool, and not a tribute to the memory of hundreds of thousands of people who died. That's why the Luciferians are coming out to march for Satan. Okay, that would make sense. Yeah, we've got this individual down here swimming in the memorial. Kind of somebody was saying earlier that was tacky. I think that's about as polite a phrase as one could use for that kind of activity. I don't really have words for kind of what that activity says about where society is right now. Well, there was graffiti on the World War II memorial a week or two ago that said the black vets count. America still had a lot of very racist policies circa World War II, but World War II veterans did fight in that war, as they had fought in wars for nearly a century leading up to it. My high school art teacher's husband helped design the World War II memorial. Cool, Brad. Of course, the Washington Monument ahead of us. Back to World War II. Is anyone even watching their kids? Yeah.
Ice cold water. Now, yeah, never accept it. Never quit.
We're starting to see a gradual uptick in the number of tourists at Washington. It was very quiet for a while, and now there are a few, at least it seems like there are a few around. I don't usually, I don't know if it was for free. Well, as part of the protest, there were people giving water away for free some of the days. Oh, thanks, Beefy. You're always very generous in your comments. I don't look forward to the longest day of the year because basically for the next 6 months, days are going to get shorter until we're in the dreary winter. DC winters aren't too dreary. DC doesn't get too cold. DC has hot summers and very mild winters. But a lot of people don't like the heat in the summer, but I do. I love the heat. July 4th is going to be hectic. It might be. I'm not sure what the schedule is or what the approach is. UGC usually has a lot of big events for 4th of July. I'm not sure if any of them are happening this year. Or if all of them are happening. This is peak summer. It's all downhill from here. To an extent, DC was literally built on a swamp. In fact, the area we're on now is where the swamp started to finally turn back into real land. So everything down that direction, the Lincoln Memorial, the Vietnam Memorial, the Korean War Memorial, the Lincoln Reflecting Pool, the World War II Memorial, the FDR Memorial, all of that was built on swamp. It was fill that infilled the area around the Lincoln Memorial. Potomac River had a giant basin there, and it still feels very swampy and muggy. A lot of ticks, a lot of gnats. I'm going to get a glimpse of the White House right through here, momentarily here. There's the White House, backside of the White House anyway. Earlier, we were at the front side of the White House, checking out the protests. So now we're just checking out some of the views here on the longest day of the year in Washington. Looking back toward the Lincoln Memorial. Skyline of Roslyn, Virginia back there. Of course, the reflecting pool and the World War II Memorial. Looking back across DC toward the Jefferson Memorial. This direction. Of course, the Washington Monument. Sunning itself in the sunset. People picnicking here, very different vibe than protests, though even those are starting to take on more of a street festival vibe. Beefy says never gets old. Brad is in Southern Maryland. Been to DC a bazillion times. Where in Southern Maryland, Brad? Yeah, Beefy, it is beautiful. Calvert County, okay. Near the water or inland? Near Solomons. Drum Point. Isn't that over there? You guys are right around the bend near the Chesapeake. Yeah. Some cool stuff down there. Solomon's has some cool restaurants. A lot of nice homes down there. Boating, jet skiing. Capitol building, obviously, on the other end of the mall. The dome popping up. There is the Natural History Museum of the Smithsonian. It's the Washington Monument, and then looking down back toward the Lincoln once again with the American flags in the foreground here, ringing the Washington Monument. Really beautiful evening. It's cool hearing all that. Lots of history around there. Yeah. Somebody's down here at the base of the hill with a megaphone. There's the African American History Museum in the sunset. Yeah, Tux, I know you're making a joke, but it's a very tumultuous situation right now in the country, and in particular, there's a lot of history here across the country. Maybe towards the Smithsonian, I'm going to throw a fit. Well, I think the monuments would probably go first. Certainly, Washington and Jefferson. I don't know how long until somebody, makes a legitimate effort to try to get those removed. I just hope they're happy when in 300 years somebody judges us by standards of morality 300 years from now. A lot of police cars down here. I wonder what they're expecting tonight. I wonder if they are expecting something in terms of rallies or protests. Yeah, it is a volatile and unpredictable situation. That volatility is not an abstract volatility for those of us that live in the hearts of these cities. I'll never forget those feelings from 3 weeks ago. Liquid Doves just spent $380 for a coding summer camp for a Lego game. Hope it was worth it. Sounds interesting, Liquid. Are you a coder, a prospective coder, a Lego aficionado? Somebody with a megaphone making a lot of noise there.
Not through religion. Because religion is to visit the government and will in the afflictions and to keep yourself unspotted from the world. But that's not
This is a guy kind of by himself there in the grass. No, not really a crowd. Just people shouting to make their voices heard. I know I've been doing this voluntarily for a few weeks, but I feel like I've heard more phrasing of the same messaging. Yeah, there's a lot of that in DC. I've spent a lot of years off and on in DC, and I've never seen it in this state. DC's weathered an awful lot of protests. Every year we get hundreds of thousands of people down here for the Women's March, pro-abortion marches, anti-abortion marches. Every 4 years we get the inauguration, which is always a huge security issue. But this has been on a different level. Yeah, I've heard people talk about the protests from the 60s as well. There was a lot that happened in 68 in DC. I don't know that it compared to that Sunday night a couple weeks ago, though. I think by all objective measures, that Sunday night a couple weeks ago was the bloodiest night Washington's seen since the War of 1812 when the White House burned. In 1814, the White House actually burned to the ground and they had to rebuild a new White House. Felt like we were getting very close to that. And people who didn't live in the White House, a lot of businesses did burn. A lot of buildings burned. A lot of trash cans, a lot of cars. And you know, the next time when it's the KKK or the Proud Boys or some group like that that's doing the burning, I guess this is the precedent we have set now. This is all justified. Yeah, the First Lady saved a lot from all the artwork. Was it called the White House that was rebuilt and painted white? Yep. Also a square building back then instead of the rectangle it is now. This White House was pretty significantly under threat. The Secret Service and Park Police, I'm not sure people realize just how close and how volatile a situation that was. It was really, really in danger. I keep saying one of these days I'm gonna just kind of go through my own chronicling of my journaling of those last few weeks and kind of what those few days encompassed. Because that is not a story that's made its way into the media. We take so for granted that cities like this exist. Just how easily their momentum can fall. So we're just watching the sunset here on the longest day of the year in Washington. Brad, that's not entirely true. There have been a lot of planned capitals. DC's been by far the most successful of them, though. Although it took DC a long time. And what DC's seen in terms of a renaissance, in terms of its urban center in the last 20 years, is really remarkable. It was once a swamp with a few buildings, and then probably the best way it could have been characterized 50 years ago was a very austere government campus. And now it's like one of the great cities of the world. Home rule changed things? A little bit. Some cities. So we turned around. Obviously, we're looking at the Capitol right now. This is the Smithsonian right here. At least one headquarters building of the Smithsonian Castle. Cranes working on the Air and Space Museum. Tux is very excited about cranes. Tomorrow we'll probably do the Capitol reflecting pool. We haven't been there in a number of days. The Capitol we'll probably spend pretty much all tomorrow with the ducks at the reflecting pool there. Unless there are things people want to see in that vicinity. We did a little tour of that part of DC last week. Air and Space is the most popular Smithsonian. Yeah, it's definitely the most visited. Natural History is second. A lot of people like that one too. American History gets a lot of visitors. To the zoo, in addition. The American Indian Museum is also interesting. The African American Museum has done very well. Yeah, it's all pretty good. The National Gallery, the West Wing and the East Wing. I'm partial to the West Wing, the older wing, which is right through those trees. It's really underrated among the great art museums of the country. The Hirshhorn Museum, an interesting piece of architecture. I think the contents of the museum I'm not a huge fan of. Generally, I'm more a fan of the monuments and memorials than I am of the museums. This is a fun little garden cut through. I got to see a dual exhibit of Ansel Adams and Annie Leibovitz at the Corcoran in high school. It's really cool because I was into photography. Yeah, the Corcoran's a great little museum too. There's a lot of smaller art museums in DC that people sometimes overlook. The Renwick Gallery is another one. Dumbarton Oaks is another really interesting sort of outdoor garden space up in Georgetown. So it was like second visit to DC type places that people don't really realize are here their first time around. A lot of other privately run museums as well. The Newseum is finding a new home, but they used to be down here on Pennsylvania Avenue. Spy Museum is now located along Palm Plaza. National Archives right in front of us. Home to the Declaration of Independence, among other things. At least it was, until Nicolas Cage stole it. It's a whole museum in DC dedicated to the post office, which we walked by the other day. Library of Congress is definitely worth a visit. The National Botanic Garden over by the Capitol. It's another one you'll sometimes forget about. Clara Barton Soldiers Home, the National Portrait Gallery. There's more little diamonds in the rough tucked into DC. Brad spent a week with his godmother. She lived on K Street. Still can't say everything in a week. Where did she live on K Street? K Street's like the central commercial street of the city. Right through these trees is the headquarters of the FBI. I don't know quite how I feel about living like 2 blocks from the headquarters of the FBI, but so we're walking in front of the National Archives right now. Looking across Pennsylvania Avenue at the U.S. Navy Memorial, which, as you could guess, is a memorial to the U.S. Navy veterans. They do summer, the U.S. Navy band does summer concerts out there most summers. We're obviously not doing them this summer, but there's nice little fun events in the summer in DC. Brad says she lived there since the 60s, and they couldn't kick her out of the condo or raise her rent. She eventually lost her mind, and we put her in a nursing home down there. Well, I'm glad you got to spend some time with her in DC. So we're sort of walking down Pennsylvania Avenue here as we cross this intersection. So this is the route that I guess coming towards us is the route that the president takes during their inaugural parade. Has there been a lot of kidnappings in DC, says Ray? You mean like political kidnappings? There's always rumors. There's the tower of the Trump Hotel. They're looking into the sunset. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot about specific political kidnappings lately. Of course, I guess that's most effective if you never hear about them. Indiana Avenue, we went up yesterday to go check out the remnants of the memorial I guess there was a sculpture to George Pike that was torn down. George Pike was a poet, an author, journalist, lots of things like that. Then also happened to be a Confederate general, maybe just a soldier. The fact that he was associated with the Confederacy led to his monument being disgraced and torn down the last couple of days by protesters. So we got to check out a look at that yesterday. The statue is entirely gone, and the rest of the memorial is now graffitied. A lot of kids not being watched appearance while this is going on. Well, yeah, I don't know, Ray. I haven't really heard about that. But you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people running around. All right, guys. Had a good day today with the protests and then the ducks. Tomorrow we'll do probably pretty much exclusively a duck stream down at the Capitol. If we get out tomorrow in the early evening. So if you like the ducks, we'll be back out visiting some different spot tomorrow. But we know there are plenty of ducks there, so should be plenty of activity. If you haven't subscribed, you like either the duck content or the protest content, please subscribe. We've got the PayPal link in the description if anybody feels so inclined to help with the duck fund, which helps us with resources for the ducks. We've gotten a couple people who have helped out, and I'm going to send you all notes. People have helped, so thank you. Clay and Ian and Jeff. Washington, New York people leaving kids on streets with stores. Okay, yeah. Yeah, some bad activity like that, Ray. Okay, Brad got a pair of mallards that hung up by my house. Yeah, Brad, why don't you start a stream? Eve says, thanks for streaming. All right, peace, not for tomorrow stream. Yeah, okay, so we're going to wrap up here. Thanks, everybody, for joining today. Please subscribe. If you can, donate. No obligation. But most of all, thanks for sticking with us. It's been good to get a bit of a loyal following over the last couple weeks, so glad we can bring whatever peace this brings to people. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up the stream here, and see everybody tomorrow.